On page 296, make sure your navigation pane is open, and we are going to right click the customers of book rep form. So we're going to come down here, customers of book rep, and you can see with the flyout box that you can see the whole thing. So we'll right click and it tells us to choose open. So we're going to go to open. Alright, and then it tells us to resize the columns to best fit. Now the fastest way is to click on that, and then if you double click, now by us fixing this here, it's going to fix it in our subform that we made just a second ago. Alright, so remember how in our subform the amount paid was, you couldn't see it, and there was just a humongous space on both of these columns. So by doing this will fix it so that there's not so much space and that all of these are seen. Alright, excellent. So we're going to save those changes, and this is actually the subform that we just made. Alright, excellent. And now we're going to close that, and the book rep master form is the main form that we made, and it wants us to open it in design view. Now it wants us to select the border here. Now notice when I click there it didn't work. So it's very important, you just have to be patient. Click in the ruler area. If you click on the slider before, notice how it doesn't select the box. So to select it, you have to make sure that you have the orange box. Don't get frustrated if it doesn't work the first time. So if I click right there, notice it didn't work. So usually the ruler area works just fine, but get the entire orange box, and then you'll get the resizing handles, and you'll be able to resize the way the book wants you to, which is to drag it out to approximately here. And you might have to do more later, but we will see what happens when we're done. Alright, so we'll just try that, see how it looks, and then on page 297 we will actually go ahead and go to the view. Now mine is being very special today, so I had to click on my home tab, and if yours disappears I could just click on the home tab and then you hit view. Alright, and that shows us what it looks like. Now obviously I can see my current due. You want to make sure that you can see the entire number. This part here we don't really care about, we don't need, but when I grade it I need to be able to see the entire customer number, the entire customer name, the entire amount paid, and the entire current due. Now technically I probably could make it just a hair wider so that these numbers aren't cut off. So to do that, I have to switch back to the design view. Notice it is still on my orange box, so I can stretch it out just a hair more and I'm good. Alright, so it just depends on how picky you are, but see, notice that now I don't have my horizontal scroll bar, and that is very good. Alright, alrighty, there's no sense worrying about the vertical scroll because some of them will have more customers than others, so that one you won't get equal. Alright, and whatever you do here, it works for all of them. So notice that for book rep master form for Melina Pettis, she has 6 clients, and we can navigate through each one of those 6. Alright, so even if she had a 7th, it would be totally easy to get there. You can also even input new records for her from there. Now also notice how you have this big white space. That really doesn't look good. So we're going to return to the design view, and I'm going to come here because before it went to layout view, and you can still resize from there. So but I need to go clear to the design view, and I'm going to resize my picture. Now I'm going to move my form footer down some because notice how when I slide over I get the double arrow. I can't get to my sizing handles. Who knows? And we are going to resize it to approximately what that picture was, and that just takes a little playing around with it till you find it. So we're going to switch back to our view, and notice there's still a lot of white space, so I'm going to switch back a little more because that bugs me. And if I go home and do it this way, design view, I can also, you can click down here too. I'll move it up just a little bit more. Now you also have to be careful because it might end up cutting up one of the others. So we're going to leave that because I would assume, see record number 1 of 4. Now I'm moving the master. Notice here it moved the customers of the book rep. Here it's going to actually move the book rep. So if we do this, oh actually we do have plenty of space. So I would advise you to go ahead and play with this until it looks good. So design view, and I'm going to drag it up a little more because I really don't like the white space at all. And we can switch back and forth down here. Form view, design view, form view. Alright, especially since this one keeps going crazy on me. And we can scroll through, and even he still has some more, but everybody else is down at the bottom. So obviously we're not going to have any perfect picture. I guess each one has a little bit extra out there to the right. Oh, nope, he does not. So this is probably the best that it's going to look for the sizes of the picture. So let's switch back to the design view and look at page 298. It wants us to click on the label for book rep number. So remember, the label is this part where you can still see the faded background, and it wants us to change it to type in the entire book rep number. So if you select it, you can backspace over it, or you can just select and start typing book rep number. Now that looks pretty good. Let's see, it says to click outside the label, so we'll do that. And then it says drag the move handle, and it wants us to move it some, so we'll click right here on the gray part and we'll move it back some. Alright, save our changes, and then always it's smart to look at it and make sure that you look okay, book rep number, and that looks fine to me. Alright, now to change the label effects and color, let's go back to our design view, and we want to change the all of the labels. So we're going to hold the shift down and click on every single label. Including the sales goal for the first time, right? Alright, so with that done, go to the Form Design Tools and the Format tab, so come here, and then we want to change the color in the font color so it looks like what we're used to. We're going to click on the font color, and we want to change that to blue, and it looks like in the book that is the blue. Click the blue color in the second position from the right, and it's pointing at that. So we'll take this one, it's really the dark blue, and then it wants us to go to the property sheet, so we have to go to design, and we are going to click, and notice our labels are still selected, right? So we want our property sheet. Our labels are still selected. Now the book specifically says to make sure that the all tab is selected, so we will do that. And honestly, I don't like using the all tab because it ends up with 9 million different choices. Each one of these, all of it is on there, and they want us to change the border style, and it's right here. But in case the SAM program asks you to do that, we're going to go ahead and do that, but just know real life you don't have to, and I wouldn't even recommend it. But we'll go to all. Here's our border style, and we're going to click in this box over here, which will give us the down arrow to choose from, and from that we are going to choose a solid. So it's going to put a solid border around each one of those boxes. Now for border width, right now it's at hairline. We'll click in here. Click on the down arrow and we're going to choose 3 points. Alright, so that makes the border a little bit wider. Then we're going to go to special effect, and instead of flat, we're going to choose etched. Very cool. Alrighty then. Now it says click on the book rep number control. And remember, the control is the white part of it. And it says select the remaining controls. If you hold down your shift key, I'm going to show you a shortcut. You can just draw a square around them like that also. You just have to be careful not to select things you don't want to select. Alright, a little shortcut for you there. All about the shortcuts. Now, for this, it wants us to do not include the subform. Excellent. So, if your shift key is down, all you have to do is, and notice here, and there we go, and awesome. So that's okay. We can just do it again. Don't include the subform. Stuff happens. That's why we should read the directions. Not my forte, but it should be. Customer notes. Make sure you have that, but not the subform. Alright, so in this case, it wants us to choose sunken as our special effect. So in the all, we'll go to our special effect, click on the down arrow, and sunken. So it's going to look like each one of these are sunk in. So we're going to close the property sheet, so you can click on here or on the X, either way works. And then we're going to go to view, and voila, sunken, and our etched borders. It is absolutely beautiful. Yes, we can see everything. Life is grand. So we're going to go back to our design view. So just so we can do a little different, we'll click on the down arrow and switch to design view. Whatever way looks good for you, then I'm cool with that. Now it says resize the form header section, and it wants us to make it bigger. So first of all, for me, my detail is straight up against that. So I'm going to grab my detail. Notice how it has the straight bar and the double arrow. So I'm going to grab that detail and drag it down to this point. And notice it shoves everything down. Alright, so now I'm going to resize my book form, book master form title. And I click on it, get my orange box going around it, and I'm going to make this bigger. And it's going to go to just past 8. And